So the first topic I'm going to talk about is that the first trailer for Sonic 3 dropped. Now, I like the first two Sonic movies. I don't love them though, and I thought the Knuckles show was okay. So I haven't really loved like any of the movies or the one TV show so far. And I am a big Sonic fan. Like to me, my favorite Sega Genesis games were the Sonic games, and my favorite Dreamcast game was the first Sonic Adventure. But like I said, I haven't loved the movies so far. But the main reason why I'm excited for this movie, is because of the Shadow character. I love the Shadow character, and I think he has a really great tragic backstory. And I thought this trailer was great. It still keeps the humor from the first two movies. I love the fact that this feels like we're going more towards it feeling like the video games. Because the first movie, was a road trip and it was okay. Like I had enjoyed it, but I didn't love it. And the second movie felt like it was trying to be the video game, and then they had this whole side story for half of the movie that kept cutting back to at the wedding I didn't care about. So this feels like it's finally heading more towards the video game series. And just seeing Shadow, I thought there was a lot of great moments. And it is Keanu Reeves that's voicing him, which I think he's a perfect fit for the voice because he comes off very serious. This Shadow in this movie, and also like you feel the stakes are up, and you can like he feels like a threat. That's something I love about this trailer. Is that I felt like in this trailer, and it can end up feeling differently when seeing the movie. But I feel like with this trailer felt like it had more of a heavy feeling towards it, with the Shadow character and his backstory. And it just felt like this movie had more stakes to it and a more emotional punch to it, at least with the trailer, than the first two movies did. And this Shadow looked awesome. I love the fight scene too, where he just takes them all down, and that Sonic Knuckles and Tails are a team now in the second movie. But I love the fact Knuckles like tries to attack him and he just takes all three of them down easily. It really shows how powerful he is. And when it comes to seeing Jim Carrey, I'll admit I'm not the biggest fan of him as Dr. Eggman. Like I feel like it's just Jim Carrey acting over the top and him acting like himself. But I'm excited for the fact that he's going to be playing another character in this movie that you see at the end of the trailer. So I think that's cool. But I thought this was just a great trailer. And again, I'm excited for Shadow, and this feels like to me with the trailer that they're gonna give you a great interpretation of the Shadow character. But overall, great first trailer. Definitely can't wait for Sonic 3. The next topic I want to talk about is the Crow opening box office wise. It opened to 4.6, and the movie costs like 50 plus you add on the marketing budget for that. And yeah, this movie tanked opening, and I'm not surprised because if you enjoy love the Crow movie, that's awesome. The Crow remake movie, the 2024 one. If you love the remake or enjoy it, I think that's awesome. And look, I don't want movies to fail at the box office. I go into every movie hoping it would be fun and great. But I am not surprised this movie bombed at the box office because nobody wanted a Crow remake of that particular version. Like to me, I don't know if it would have done any better, but I think they should have just done a Crow movie and not named the characters Alec and Shelley and not remade that version. Brandon Lee's movie is sacred to a lot of people. He died during filming of that original movie, and his performance is just like an icon. And it's just me personally, like I don't problem when you remake something. Let me just say that though, to me, you can remake any movie, like Back to the Future, any franchise I love. I don't care if you remake any movie, because at the end of the day, if the movie turns out to be crap, I still have the original movie, and it gets people to go back and watch the original version of the movie. But I think some of the reasons why it failed at the box office was nobody wanted a Crow remake because of the love for Brandon Lee's version and him in that role. I don't think the trailers made people excited. And look, I didn't hate the trailers. It was one of those things where I was like, the trailers, I didn't hate them. I thought they were pretty good. It was more the design of the Crow. I've got the message in my review. I still don't like the tattoos and the makeup where it didn't even look like he had white on his face towards that when he put on the black shadow in his eyes and the lips. Like to me, I wasn't a fan of the design of the Crow when I actually saw the movie. But people just weren't fans of the trailers. The trailers didn't get people excited. And like I said, I think it's just one of those things where it's very hard to, if you like to do a Crow movie, you're gonna specifically remake that version of Crow. like I don't know if the movie would have done any better, but I think you could have just done a Crow movie with a different character. Because I know in the Crow comics and even the Crow TV show that lasted a season, there was different Crows besides Alec Draven. I think Lionsgate should have just done a different Crow, not the Alec Draven Crow. And also, the movie got slammed critically. I mean, I think the cinema score was like a B minus, and even though it has like it has decent audience score, it has like a sissy something area like somewhere in the sissies, which is a decent to good audience score. So the audience seemed to enjoy it more than the critics. But I didn't hear anybody saying they loved it, though. Like out of like reviews I've seen, I've heard most people say it was either terrible or okay, and the reviews just haven't been that great for this movie, for this Crow remake. Like, it got slammed on Rotten Tomatoes by the critics, and audience, yeah, they don't seem to enjoy it more, but it's not like I would say they're loving it, though, so it's, the reviews haven't been kind to this movie. So I think those are all the reasons why this Crow remake just didn't do well at the box office opening-wise. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not surprised because of all those reasons, and I honestly think they just needed to just leave the Crow franchise alone for a while. Like, I know probably 5 or 7 years later, they want to try another Crow movie, but you need to like find somebody that can really do something cool and new and actually make a good to great movie out of this franchise. Again, no offense to people who enjoyed or loved the remake, but I thought it was a poor attempt like the 3 sequels. And I'm not surprised it didn't do well at the box office. The next thing I want to talk about is the Lord of the Rings new anime movie put out the first trailer. I believe it's called like the War of Rohan. I thought this was a great trailer. I love the fact that in the trailer you see like it starts off in live action from the original Lord of the Rings trilogy. And you see it go into the animation style for this new story. And I'm just really excited for this because I thought the trailer visually looks great with the animation. Like, I love the fact it kind of goes back to an old style 2D hand-drawn animation where it looks more hand-drawn. Which I like the old style kind of look to it with the hand-drawn animation. And I love the fact this takes place like 183 or 184 years before the original trilogy. So I love the fact we're going to see like a new story, new characters. We're going to explore some like an area that we haven't seen before. And for me personally, this is the first time I've seen Lord of the Rings in animation. I know this isn't the first time Lord of the Rings has been done in animation. Like, I know there's some like stuff back then before Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings movies where they did some animated stuff with the franchise, but for me, this is my first time seeing this franchise in any type of animation, and I just thought this was a great trailer. Like, the story looks great. I love seeing these new characters and just exploring like a time frame in the Lord of the Rings where it's not like I like the fact that it's so far removed from the original trilogy when it comes to being 184 years before that trilogy, and hopefully this will be a Lord of the Rings movie I can come out and I see it and go like, hopefully I'll see a good to great Lord of the Rings movie again, because I wasn't a fan of the Hobbit movies all that much. Like, I enjoyed the second Hobbit movie, but I don't think any of them are great. So I'm hoping this will get me like excited for this will get me coming out kind of like that was a good to great Lord of the Rings movie again. But I thought overall this was a fantastic first trailer. Cannot wait for this movie. The next thing is Alien Romulus. So Alien Romulus slipped to second place at the box office. It took like a 61 drop, and Deadpool Wolverine went back to first place at the box office. And I'll say this: Alien Romulus took a bigger drop than I thought. Like, 60 with 61% isn't really a good drop. But the good thing about Alien Romulus is that the movie is already made like over 220, and the movie's only made for like 80 plus the marketing, and originally it was going to be like a Hulu movie. It was originally not going to be in theaters. So at the end of the day, like, this movie, like, Alien Romulus still had a good opening. It had like the second highest opening in the Alien franchise, and it's only made over 200. And the fact the movie's like budget is 80 below 100, I definitely think this movie's always successful. And in my opinion, they're gonna do another Alien movie after this. The next topic is the Christopher Reeve documentary Super Slash Man, the Christopher Reeve story, put out his first trailer. I thought this was a great first trailer. Like, to me, Christopher Reeve was my Superman, and to me, he's still the best Superman Clark Kent in film, in my opinion. And my favorite Superman movie is still Superman 2 when it comes to those first two original movies that I love. And I can understand some of those two movies might feel a little dated for some people, but I think what I love really about Christopher Reeve, and I've said this in a Facebook post that I put, where what's really lacked for me in the Superman, in Henry Cavill's version and Brendan Ross version, and why I didn't love Superman. One of the reasons why I didn't like, those other reasons why I didn't like Superman, I enjoyed Superman Returns and enjoyed Man of Steel, but didn't love him, was that when you see that part being in the trailer, where you see him smiling, I'm like, that's what Christopher Reeve, why he was my favorite Superman Clark Kent. He brought so much personality to both sides of those characters, and so much joy. There was just a sense of joy and fun with his character that I felt like lacked in Man of Steel and Superman Returns. And he felt like a person to me personally. Like his Clark Kent and Superman, where he just did a fantastic job of playing the two distinct personalities, but just like standing differently, how he like changed his voice a little, and just he did these little things that would just make you buy into him being two separate people, and he just made them to me relatable. And you really believe when he says in the first movie, I believe in American Truth and Justice, something like that, to Lois when she's interviewing him. You believe that. You believe when you watch him, a man can fly. And he was just, from what this documentary shows, he was a great person too, and it sucks what happened to him. He was, if you go outside of stuff of him not being Superman, he was a great actor. Like, I haven't seen too many of his movies outside of the Superman movies, but I know everybody always says that, you watch stuff outside of Superman movies. He was just a great actor too, and he seemed like a really good guy from the footage you saw in the documentary when you saw him in interviews, and he just seemed to really love the character of Superman. And when I think of Chris Reeve, I always think of Superman, and in my opinion, to this day, he still is the best Superman Clark Kent in film. And I just love this trailer. Like, this trailer definitely hit me, and I think for people who grew up those Superman movies and love Christopher Reeve, I think this is going to be a great documentary. And overall, I thought this was a great trailer that really gave you that warm feeling of, this seemed like a guy that really loved his fans, was passionate about the character, and felt like and he just seemed like a guy that loved his family and brought so much joy to the fans when it came to his time as Superman. So I cannot wait for this documentary. I already got tickets for it. I'm seeing it with two buddies. And this is definitely one of my most anticipated movies in September. The last topic I'm going to talk about is that Knives Out 3 has finished filming, which is great here. I love the first two Knives Out movie. I think Daniel Craig's great in those movies. And they're some of my favorite mystery movies when it comes to a character solving a case, and they're just really fun movies too. Like, I just think Rian Johnson does a great job with those movies. So I definitely cannot wait for Knives Out 3. To me, the first two are fantastic, and if that ends up being just as great as the first two, it definitely cannot be one of my favorite trilogies. So that's all the movie topics today. Until next time, movie fans.